So today I'm joined with Chris Panteli from Linkifi.
Hey James, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. So I'm going to start grilling, with who you are and what you do and your bit of background. So for anyone that doesn't know, who is Chris Panteli?
He's a male model. Yeah, Chris Panteli. I'm from the UK, and I'm co-founder of Linkifi. So we digital PR agency specializing in expert quote links and PR campaigns.
So let's dive straight into it then. Expert quote links. Can you briefly explain for anyone that doesn't know what expert quote links is, and has it got SEO value?
Yeah, so expert quote link building is inbound requests from journalists looking to source experts that they can quote in their article. It's not a link building opportunity per se from the journalist perspective, but as SEOs, we notice that oftentimes the journalists, when they quote an expert, they will link back to the expert's website or the website that the expert is representing, and therefore it is a wonderful opportunity to win links from some of the world's biggest publications.
So obviously it's a great time to be doing a podcast with yourself, because recently HARO, Help a Reporter Out, has now upgraded to Connectively. So can you explain a little bit about anyone that knows about HARO, why the change? Is it better, the dashboard now? Is it making it harder for people who are trying to do expert quote link building? Has it made it better for Linkifi? Why have they upgraded, and is it good or is it bad for you as a company?
Yeah, so it used to be 3 emails a day. Anyone that knows the old system or remembers it, I mean, it's been around for nearly 15 years now. So it was 3 emails a day from multiple journalists sourcing experts. Everybody got very used to that. Obviously, 15 years is a long time to be doing something the same way. And as the introduction of AI sort of became quite prevalent, maybe 20 odd months ago, let's say, that's when the journalists were getting bombarded with like AI spam. And although I think there was some sort of inbuilt blocking systems with the old system, it wasn't enough, I think, for the journalists to not be getting annoyed by this mass onset of AI spam from people trying to get backlinks. Obviously, as you know, anything in SEO which is a good thing gets taken over by SEOs quickly becomes like a bad thing. So also it was free. It had been free for 15 years. Peter Shankman, the original founder of it, started it as a free way to connect journalists with expert sources. And the new system is now pay to play. So you got to pay. If you want to play, you got to pay. And it's not prohibitively expensive, but there is a cost. You get 5 free links, 5 free pitches. So potentially 5 free links per month. And then on top of that, any additional pitches you want to do, there's a cost to it. I think it's like $1 a pitch, or maybe less if you scale up the amount of pitches that you buy. Is it better? It's different, and it takes some getting used to. I'd say the biggest, certainly for an individual, I'd say the biggest change, if you've been used to the old system and you're going on to the new system, is the psychology behind it. So you used to get these 3 emails a day. Obviously, you'd be working for 1 or 2 of those if you're working. And then you'd maybe set aside that one of those email blasts to sit down, look through, see what's appropriate, and then fire off 1 or 2 pitches. So it's now like a continual roll of source requests that are just dripping in like continually. So now you need to just psychologically decide how you want to approach it. If you want to sit down for a few hours a day, if you want to look through. I mean, the worst thing is missing the perfect opportunity, but that does happen. And then us as an agency, we find it better. Our results have gone up simply because the barrier to entry, albeit small, is definitely there. It's sort of, there were some systems that you could buy into where it would just do all the pitching for you with AI. Not recommended, although because you could pay very cheaply and they would send so many, you would eventually win some links. The cost now, I think, has sort of wiped all of that out. So if you want to be involved, you've got to pay a small amount, which means there's a lot less AI spam. and it's a golden opportunity to create pitches better than the people that are paying but aren't taking any care or attention. They're just plug and play in ChatGPT and sending off an AI response. If you go one step above that with any level of looking at what you're actually doing, checking that it doesn't look like AI, and doing some research, just one notch above can set you apart from 90% of what's being sent in.
Yeah. So what was interesting then is several times you mentioned AI, but you followed it with AI spam. And obviously artificial intelligence is in and around us all. Does Chris Panteli at Linkifi use AI? But obviously it's garbage in, garbage out. So it's how good your prompts are. Not all artificial intelligence is spam. Some can be used in a good way. But is Linkifi using AI in any sort of way to integrate further growth within your business?
I think you'd be mad not to be using AI like in this day and age. It is fantastic, but again, like you said, garbage in, garbage out. So it's how you use it. I spoke at Dubai SEO conference last year, towards the end of last year, and I spoke about how you can use it and what it is that journalists are looking for and what it is that they're not looking for. So basically, you should be using AI. We do, but it's how you use it. And for us, the best thing that you can do is have an individuality to the voice and to the use of the English language that you're using in order to create your pitch. So really, really frequently, the journalist is looking to quote an expert with just an ever so slightly unique or interesting way that what they already know is being said in a different voice. So, for example, it could be a fitness expert, a fitness journalist that's writing an article about the best way to get motivated to go for a run. And they just want you to come up with something interesting, but is quotable. So some linguistic flurry to the lines that you're using, but also an original voice, and also unique enough that it isn't the same answer that ChatGPT would spit out if you've just, in a vanilla fashion, put that question into ChatGPT, hit return, and been given a response. So it can massively improve your workflow and your speed. It can be used as a research tool. It's really good at analyzing data. If you're taking data from multiple sets as well, you can use the data analyst tool in ChatGPT to like cross-analyze multiple documents and then get like a summary. So if you're actually trying to produce a quality pitch, you want to utilize as much research and data as possible. And AI is the best way to handle large amounts of data, analyze them, and get fast output that you can actually understand in a meaningful way. Then the other side of it is the pitches that you actually send to the journalists. So I think AI is going to have this almost unspoken agreement between all those that use it. Everybody knows that everybody's using it, but what we don't want to do is just be using it and it obviously be AI. And if we're pitching journalists, these people are professional writers, so they can smell AI. We've all put stuff into AI and seen those really AI phrases that you see time and time again. If you're sending this stuff, the journalists will know. They're not even going to bother reading past the first sentence if that's what they've seen. And also the journalists have to protect their reputations as well. So the two major issues with AI: one, the journalist or the writer may have been dictated to by the publication which they're writing for, that they do not want the use of AI, which means that the journalists and the publications likely will be using AI checking tools. So we need to pass those tools, which isn't difficult. And you can use AI to generate responses in order to rewrite stuff that you've written to pass AI. And don't forget, we can write stuff in our own words and it fails the AI detection tools. So it's a bit of give and take and, understanding the nuances there. And secondly, they don't want to be infringement of any content which has been written before, and then you're just rehashing in your own words. So copyright, or plagiarism, two major things. So in-house, everything that we send off goes through AI detection and make sure that we pass plagiarism. We want to be safe for the journalists. We also make sure that we are utilizing other features. So if we are actually an expert in the pitch that we're doing, a super neat trick I can tell your audience, especially if they're watching and they're an expert and they're going to go and start pitching expert quotes after watching this, is just get your iPhone, look at the question, do a little bit of research, then do a voice note into an iPhone and just speak for like 5 minutes answering the question. Don't worry about arms, don't worry about anything. Just use your own tone of voice and put it into a voice note. Then take that massive chunk of like almost illegible text, put it into an AI with a clever prompt that asks to tidy it up, but maintains the tone of voice and the nuances of the language that's been used. You will have a really succinct, well-written pitch response that passes AI and plagiarism, is written in your tone of voice, and perfectly answers the question.
Great knowledge bomb there. I like that. So, as I've come to interview Chris Panteli at Linkifi, I wanted to do a little bit of digging about what you've said recently. And there's a quote that says, "We are living in the golden era of link building." So can you explain a little bit further by that quote of what you said? We are living in the golden era of link building. Can you explain to the viewers here of what you mean by that?
Yeah, so it's what we're noticing is obviously content is everywhere now. It's easy to come by, it's easy to produce. So the distinguishing features for content is twofold. It's the quality and where it's coming from. So I do believe that news publications and journalistic content will be around and survive the AI mass production of content. And journalists have, since time immemorial and for the foreseeable future, will want to enhance their articles, the credibility by quoting experts from the expert quote side, and then from the digital PR side, they want to feature experts and feature real people talking about the stories that matter to their audience. Which means this is a great time for us to be those people. So that takes some work in order to set yourself up, set your profile up, make sure that you have a wide visibility across the web. But it's a great time for us to be that person and get featured in these publications, develop our own brands, develop the brands of our business, and also controlling the narrative of the AI as well. So the AI tools that are scraping hundreds and thousands and billions of data points, the more that we're getting our name and our business and our brand message and our brand narrative out there into the ether, onto these trusted sources, the more that we're going to control what AI is going to say about us and our business.
So Linkify obviously does reactive PR campaigns. It does expert quote link building. If anyone wants to know a little bit about the difference between reactive PR and expert quote link building, check the link in the description. Me and Chris actually speak about the difference between the two strategies and what people can do for link building. But I'm now going to talk about, obviously you must be happy with the latest Google leak, because obviously in that Google leak, it talks about tier 1 publications and getting links on fresh pages, which kind of screams and shouts you want to be getting your name and ideally getting links on fresh pages in Google News, in tier 1 publications. It screams and shouts digital PR, right? And the SEO community now seems to be the buzzword. Have you found business to be growing, obviously because of the Google leak? What's your thoughts about the Google leak and specifically the tier 1 publications and fresh pages?
It hasn't really changed. This is a narrative that we were pushing before the leak. We interviewed Barry Schwartz on our podcast a while ago, and we asked him his views on this. And obviously, a lot of the leak was, although it was confirmed by Google, there was no sort of definitive clarification that everything within that API documentation was either historically or currently being used by Google. However, for a lot of the SEOs, we sort of looked through it, and the stuff that we saw, it did sort of validate a lot of our pre-existing opinions. So we know that there is a lot of safety in building links on tier 1 news publications, simply for the fact that they receive so much organic traffic from Google anyway. And obviously a large amounts of organic traffic is a big signal that Google trusts that site. Google will not send a website, hundreds of thousands of millions of organic monthly visitors if it doesn't trust the site. So if we were to build a link, if we were able to win a link from one of these sites, we can feel relatively confident that, in 6 months or 12 months time, when Google changes its mind again on a number of factors, that this probably won't be something that's going to ding you, like maybe if you built a bunch of PBN links or niche edits. Not that they are bad strategies, because they're most definitely not. But as a white hat PR agency, the narrative that we were pushing is tier 1 publications, fresh pages. So it hasn't really changed in that sense, but the Google leak docs did sort of, in a sense, validate that for us. And yeah, it does seem to be a buzzword. But I think the value is it just goes beyond the SEO, the like algorithmic SEO value. So you have all the other elements to it as well. I mean, PR is an industry far older than the internet itself. So we want to be building brands. We want to be building multiple touch points with customers. If you're an e-com site, if you're a SaaS business, if you're an affiliate site, whatever it is that you are, you want to be building brand. You want to be building multiple touch points across the web. And you want to be controlling the new wave of what's going to be talking about us, which is the AI algorithms. So I think it's an exciting time to be a part of it. It also grows and develops your EAT, which we know, although not an algorithmic ranking factor, at some point a search quality rater, a human from Google, is likely going to come and click and look at your website and wants to know really quickly whether or not it can trust your website. And if it can see that you've been featured in websites that it's heard of, then it's another tick in the box to get you to pass that and have longevity for your business.
Yeah. So with regards to digital PR, now you've sold it upon the viewers. Everyone's all in. I want to do digital PR, right? But for some reason, they don't want to use Chris Panteli. They think that you look like one of my business partners, Scott Calland, and they don't want to use Linkifi, right? So for whatever reason, they do not want to use you, and they don't want to use Linkifi.
They can use Scott.
Right, yeah, they can
use the next best thing. Yeah.
The effective pitching. If they want to do this themselves and they're looking for an effective pitching in the current climate, what setup, what profile, what visibility, what is needed for them to be able to do it themselves? If I want the viewers to have some sort of knowledge, if they did want to do it themselves, what's needed there?
Okay, so sign up for any of the platforms that are free to begin with. So free connectivity account, quote account, set alerts on X for hashtag journal request, hashtag PR request, and then make sure your about page on your website accurately reflects your credentials that are aligned with that website. And if you haven't got that, then that is something that you need to look into. Depending on your feelings towards bending the truth slightly, depending on what niche you're in, I would not recommend this with anything YMYL, medical, etc. But if you've got a travel website and you've only ever been to one country, can you say you've been to 20 countries and you're a travel expert? I would, because you need to be an expert. This is the key. You've got to be an expert. And you need to have that visible on the about page. You don't want one profile picture of yourself that looks like it's been generated by AI and one paragraph that just says, I'm an expert. You want to talk about everything that you've done, every accolade, every award, every credential. Everything needs to be really well represented on the about page, because the journalist will go and check you out. It takes them 5 seconds to do it. And if they can't find it, they'll move on. So make sure it's there and it's easy to find. Make sure that visibility extends beyond the website. Make sure that it goes onto a LinkedIn profile, social profiles, and make sure that you're not a gardening expert on your gardening website, okay, which is fine. But then if the journalist clicks on your LinkedIn, you are an SEO manager or a cold email marketing specialist. It's not going to, the two and two aren't going to click with the journalist. They're going to think, I don't trust this, and they're going to move on. So for the duration of whichever campaign that you're running, make sure that all of that expertise and visibility tracks through across all those platforms. Build a pitch template, which is clean and simple. Introduction, who you are, qualifications, awards, where else you've been featured, and then give the journalist the link to your website, your headshot. Make everything simple. Then scour the opportunities and make sure you're going for opportunities that make sense, and make sure you're reading the requirements. The journalist will always give requirements, okay? If they are looking for a gardening expert and you are a gardening expert and the requirements state that you must be a gardening expert, then go for it. That's perfect. Also check the domain, make sure it's a good domain, and you've got a good chance of winning. If they're looking for a gardening expert that is a female and you are a man, don't answer that query because you're going to annoy the journalist and you haven't adhered to the requirements. And finally, if you're going to utilize AI, I would get an AI checking detection tool. There's a number of free ones. Just pick one. Don't try it across multiple because they're all different and they're all changing all the time. And make sure it passes any plagiarism checks as well. And lastly, probably the most important thing is make sure you have alerts set on your name and your business and domain name, because we win 40 to 60% of our client links come after the fact. So that's getting an unlinked mention where the journalist has picked our quote, included us in the article, and not linked to us. So you need to be monitoring the alerts, find those unlinked mentions. If you've got a previous correspondence with the journalist, you can just go, oh, I just saw the article, it's great, but you didn't link to me, blah, 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 blah. Or if you didn't have a correspondent with the journalist and they just quoted you but didn't link, you need to try and track down the editor of the publication, sister publications, go above and beyond to try and get that link added.
Sounds like a lot of hard work to me, that, Chris.
Well, it's worth it though.
Anyone who watches my channel will know that if I build an extension on my house, I get a bricklayer to come and build my wall. I get a roofer to come and do my roof. I go and get an electrician to do all my electrics. Like, for me, it's just, you know what you're doing for expert PR, digital PR, for reactive PR, for expert kind of comment PR. Like, for me, it's just better to outsource to people like Linkifi and listen to all that. Like, just do this and just do that. I'm like, no, there you are. How much is it? Go on.
You can absolutely do it on your own. And my advice to your audience watching that, like, doesn't have budget, doesn't have too much time, is to a little hack is just to get one or two of the links that you can get. Find your competitors in your space, go to a few competitors' websites, see what logos they've got on the front page of their website. Chances are they're expert quote links, and chances are if they've got them, you can get them. Go and find those requests on those platforms and just respond to those until you win those links. It's the easiest way to get started.
So just a couple of things on that if people are looking to do it themselves, you mentioned, but it was quite quick as you was going through it, you mentioned one or two different tools. So obviously HARO now has changed to Connectively. Is that paid? Is it pay and play? Or can you get so many requests for free per month? And then I think you mentioned Quoted. I think there was something press plugs or something like that. Like, can you just list those of what they are? What if someone's doing it on a budget, what's their best way? I think on Twitter you mentioned PR request and journal request. Are they the hashtags as well? So if someone's looking to do it, like, what's the four things that you would do?
Twitter and hashtag journal request, hashtag PR request, set alerts, because that's all free. Connectively, free account, 5 free pitches per month. Quoted, I think, is the same. It's definitely a free tier. Press plugs is paid. There's a site called Media Matchmaker, I believe, which does a decent trial, and that takes a lot of the tweet requests, pushes it out via their platform.
There's like help a B2B writer as well. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. That's free, and that's more your sort of marketing, techie, technical writing sort of niches. So some e-com as well, business, finance. Really nice publications that source on there. Fewer requests, but some really nice publications. That one's completely free as well.
Yeah. So let's dive into the last bits now with regards to digital PR as a whole. What's the difference and what do you think people like SEOs or webmasters or SEO agencies should be concentrating on? Is it all forms of PR, digital PR? Is it reactive PR, brand kind of profile PR, or expert comment link building? Like, should they be doing just one of them? Or are you kind of the opinion that they should be trying to do everything and trying to get as many different referring domains pointing through to their website as possible?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends on the circumstance of the individual and the business. But yeah, more referring domains, the higher you grow your authority, and then obviously you can start ranking for more and more keywords, you can start getting more traffic, then you can convert more customers, make more money. But you need to decide which is the best route for you. And if you can allocate budget to all of these different types, then I would recommend that, because you're going to see an ROI on it. But also you need to understand the nuances between the two. So expert quote building is going to give you the ability to get some really nice, unique, more US centric domains that aren't really available from PR requests, just because those publications aren't receptive to PR campaign, sorry. And then on the PR campaign side, there's going to be links and publications. It's a bit more UK centric, but you're going to get access to sites on that side that you wouldn't get from the other. You get a bit more control over the narrative on the PR side. So you can control your brand messaging a little bit more to an extent. You can come up with interesting stories that represent your business in more of a way than you want. Whereas the expert quote side, you are providing commentary to enhance an article which the journalist is already working on. So for example, that if you own a gardening website, they're looking for like a gardening tip to support their argument in their gardening article. Whereas if you're a gardening supply company and you do a PR campaign, you may do a reactive piece on, let's say, the Prince of Wales was recently spotted in his garden and they took some pictures. You may come up with a really interesting idea to react to that news and have your business as the main focus of that campaign. So it's much more brand building in that sense. But yeah, I mean, I would focus on both if you can. I think both support each other really well from our perspective as an agency, but also it can give you the ability to be seen in front of more journalists and more people writing content and see you more of an expert in your field. Yeah.
So, well, anyway, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure in interviewing you. Something I would recommend with the viewers, check out some of the links in the description. There's actually a couple of other videos where I dig down a bit deeper. I always knew Chris as being the HARO links guy. Obviously, over the years, he's grown to be much bigger than that and does a lot more different sorts of digital PR campaigns now, including reactive PR campaigns and stuff like that. But I dig deep into why HARO has moved over to Connectively. There's a full video on that. I dig deep into exactly why SEO should be looking to get expert commentary, link building techniques. Because a lot of SEOs just look at citations, guest posts and link inserts or niche edits, and they're not really looking at the advantages of using expert quote link building or any sort of digital PR campaigns. But for anyone that doesn't know where to find you, Chris, where is the best place to get in touch with you and hang out if they've got any questions?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Dooley. It's been awesome. Linkifi.io. You can find me there, or Linkifi_ on X, Christopher Panteli on LinkedIn as well. Book a call with me as well if you want, or see me at a conference sometime soon.
Well, Chris Panteli at Linkifi, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you soon at one or two of the next kind of events. In fact, touching on that before I leave, can you explain a little bit about the White Press and kind of joint venture with Linkifi SEO conference in Cyprus for anyone that's not got any tickets?
Yeah.
Are you just Googling now the dates of?
Yes, frantically.
I know it's the end of October, but I don't know the exact date.
Yeah,
If anyone's looking to attend any SEO conferences, Chris is putting one together with probably, in my opinion, the best link building marketplace that there is, White Press. They're teaming up in putting a great SEO conference together. So what's the dates of that, Chris?
23rd to the 25th of October. I'm actually half Cypriot. My dad is Greek Cypriot, so it's awesome. We are doing it in Cyprus, in Limassol, which is absolutely beautiful. It's still going to be really, really hot and beautiful in October. SEO Vibes, we're doing it with White Press and Linkifi, the e-commerce edition. And we've got some great speakers already. We've got the head of SEO at Alibaba. We've got Larissa Iana Roman Halliday from Boohoo Group, and Greg Elfrink, I think, as well, from Empire Flippers. Loads of awesome speakers. So if you can get tickets, Cyprus is going to be beautiful. Even if you just come for the sun, it's going to be a great event.
Just so you know, they've got a secret assassin. Me and Carl are coming.
There you go.
We're doing a Q&A.
Awesome.
We're coming along to support you and White Press and the SEO Vibe. To be fair, I absolutely love the SEO Vibes, SEO conferences, because one, they're not a profit-making machine. They're doing it to actually provide value for all their users, obviously all your users. They're trying to do it in all the different countries throughout the world. So massive hats off to White Press for that and SEO Vibes for it. And yeah, I'm excited to come over and participate in your first SEO conference as well. So
thanks.
I hope
Cheers,
anyone
Dooley.
who's watching this has enjoyed my interview with Chris Panteli from Linkifi. Leave a comment in the comment section and make sure you check out all the other videos that I've done with him as well.
Cheers, Dooley. It's been awesome.
Cheers, mate.